Hello, just sticking this on here. I'll stick at some pictures of what these are supposed to look like because I won't be able to bring the camera over to have a look at the model number, but I will tell you about the model number. I'm sure I've done a couple of these before. In fact, I think I did a video 6 months ago on this model, and didn't I call it one of Samsung's worst TVs ever? I think so. I'll bring the model number up anyway, but it is a Samsung, and it is an edge-lit one, so it's one that we don't like. It's the NU range. Anything from the KU, MU, NUs, and TUs are not good. They burn up the prism sheet when the backlights go. This does belong to a customer. He said to me he was watching it one night. A quarter of the picture went. So I think a quarter down the right-hand side just disappeared. And then he said a couple of minutes later, it all went. He did get in contact with Samsung, and Samsung told him to do a factory reset. How a factory reset's going to bring back on the backlights, I don't know. And he had to do it with a torch. And there's somebody from Samsung telling him to get a torch, shine it on the screen. By the way, when you take the back off, just be careful here, because you have got a little bit of wiggle room with your screwdriver or your tool, but just make sure that you don't get anywhere near those tabs. Anyway, so the customer managed to reset it, but of course the strips didn't come back on. The backlights or the edge lights, call them what you will, didn't come back on. They wouldn't. Once they've decided to go, they've gone. So obviously I'm just dismantling the set at the moment and taking it apart slowly. I still want to give this TV some respect because I did ask the customer if before it went, did he notice any problems at the bottom? Because as we know, this is an edge-lit set and it's lit from the bottom to the top. And they burn out the bottom side of the prism sheet. I'm just taking off the tab bar here, and then I can get the screen out. But I've taken the main bezel out, and I've taken the screen bezel out, so as soon as this comes off, it'll give me a chance to disconnect the screen completely, and then I can remove the screen. Something that's really important on these particular models, all edge-lit ones, especially the Samsung ones, but it goes for all edge-lit ones, is wear gloves when it comes to taking the screen off. Now, you can handle the screen with your hands. That's okay. The fingerprints do burn off after time. But if you get your fingerprints on the prism sheets, and the glass in particular, the heavy glass bit, that will cause some real nasty marks, some smudges, which come up as little light spots on the screen. They're very hard to get rid of. It's not the sort of thing you can just dust off with alcohol either afterwards if you have to take it to bits again. So the best thing to do is just to be very cautious and not get your fingerprints on that bit. But we're nowhere near that at the moment. I'm just swinging this around, getting ready to take it off. And also, if I remember, I think this screen is also glued down. Only a little bit. They haven't gone absolutely crazy. There's a little bit of tape which sticks it down. So you have to be very careful. It is something that you can just lift out of the way here. But also some parts of the sheets here are glued down as well. So you're going to be have to be extra careful with this. But if there's one thing I've noticed here so far, and I'll just whip the camera along, is normally from here you can see the burn marks. And so far I haven't noticed any burn marks at all. This is the bit that's stuck down. Notice the way I'm handling it very gently at the sides. So let me just get an old business card. There's always an old business card on hand. And I'll just slot it underneath. And that will help me cut through the tape bit. So once I've got that out of the way, I will be able to lift this bit off. But so far, I'm looking on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and that's usually the bits that burn up, and I can't see anything. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be any burn marks. We're only getting the first diffuser sheet out at the moment. Well, the first couple. This is where you tend to notice when you leave, when these two come off. Just let me balance it right so I can get it off and get it out. And once this comes off, well, we can have a look at this. And to be honest with you, I am pretty impressed. I've scanned around this bit, which is normally where most of the damage is done, on the far left-hand side and the far right-hand side, and you can see the backlights under there, and it's not burnt. There's a couple of slight scorch marks. Okay, this is the bit where you have to be very careful. I'm just trying to use my fingernails, if possible, just to lift the glass up, just so I can put a couple of business cards. You can use business cards if you don't have business cards, and of course not everybody does. If you haven't got business cards, you can use some kitchen towel. That's fine. But just keep your moist fingerprints away from the center of the screen in particular. But I'm just lifting it up there just to give me some leverage and some protection so I don't get my grubby fingerprints on it, because that's the main bit. The bit underneath is fine. That's just a reflector sheet. They tend to get filthy anyway, but that doesn't block any of the light out. These sheets are amazing. They're almost magnetic to dust and bits of grime and stuff, and I can see something that's already got onto the sheet. Look, there's a black dot just there, and I'm just going to get a piece of paper again, trying not to use my hand, but I had to use my fingernail to get that off, and that's got that bit off. But just be careful, especially when you're reassembling, because there's all these black dots and bits of dirt and crud that come from anywhere. None of us live in a complete clean environment. Well, just scanning along at the edge lit strips, and I'm just, as I mentioned earlier, there's some slight scorch marks here and there, but there's nothing that's caused any damage, and I'm surprised, without really having a close look to see if I've got any individual burnt out LEDs on the strips. I'm surprised these have burnt out. There's a little mark there, but that's not causing the issue. There'll just be a couple of LEDs on both of these strips which have caused them to fail, but they're in good nick. So new ones out. You'll notice the new style of the ones that fit these. They've done them a little bit slimmer and a little bit longer. Apparently that is to protect the prism sheet. So hopefully now, when I put these in, the new prism sheet is going to be protected for a lot longer, because so far this seems to be in good nick. I'm really surprised. The other thing, because I've got a brand new set, and the way they kind of stick these, there's a mould on them, and you just break the end mould off to separate them. Just be gentle, and it will come off. And then getting the old ones out, pretty easy. I just use a flat blade screwdriver, stab myself from time to time. That's the other thing. If you do cut yourself, quickly clean it. Don't get blood on your hands, for heaven's sake, otherwise you will get it on the diffuser sheets and then you will cause problems. But these will, if you're just gradual and you're just gentle, these will come off okay. The other thing that you have to do, which I have done already, is those little clips. You can see where my screwdriver is there. There are some little clips that you just bend back to help you get these out. Then when you put the new ones in, you just bend the new ones back in. As far as lining up's concerned, it's quite easy. It's obvious where they go because of the plug and sockets. There will be remnants of glue. And again, if you're gentle, I've just noticed that all the glue that's left, I mean, if you're rough, it will take you ages to get these remnants of glue off, but if you're just gentle, it will kind of almost come off as one long piece. He says, breaking it there. But you see what I mean? And it will come off pretty clean. Anything that you leave behind, just again using the same screwdriver, just pull it off. You can't get it 100%. There's always going to be a little bit, but that's okay. Don't forget the new strips will come with some double-sided tape anyway. Well, they should do, because you're going to need that. You'll have problems if you buy them without it. Easy to line up with a plug and socket. And once you've got both of them lined up, don't forget to plug them back in. And of course, you can always test them without putting the screen back on. So I'm just going to plug them in here. And then I shall give them a test and make sure that they work for a couple of minutes. I did buy a set once, I think it was for a 50-inch. And they came on and they failed right in front of me. In fact, I think there was a spark and a bit of a fire and they burnt out. It can happen. But once you've got them in, you can give them a test to make sure that they are going to light up. Now, obviously, because of the camera shutter speed, these are probably going to flicker a bit. So let me just switch them on. No, they're not flicker manager. They're only low at the moment. Yeah, they're all coming on now. It's low, but it'll soon burn up to full speed. There it is. They're okay. You're seeing them probably flickering a little bit because, as I say, the shutter speed, but they're good. So now comes the important bit, reassembling and making sure you get everything in the place. It is just a reverse action of what you've done so far. I mean, at the moment, I'm pretty amazed and convinced. I'm pretty convinced that the picture quality on this is going to be fine. As I say, I did one of these a couple of months ago. I did a video for them. I don't usually take them on anymore, but this gentleman was such a nice chap, and he asked me to give it a go because he can't afford a brand new TV. Anyway, we're using paper towel now to put this back into place, and I'm hoping for this chap, for the customer, who's a real decent guy. I'm hoping that there are no burn-up marks. There's nothing that I can see. This has got to be one of the best edge-lit sets that I've ever worked on. Most of them end up on the scrap heap. I'd love to know what the settings were that he's been using. I can only guess he's just been using the factory settings, which is normal. He's not switched it to dynamic to burn them out because I can't test because he's had the TV reset. Samsung told him to reset the picture. So I'm just giving it a test now to see how it looks and to see if the screen is pretty well covered, and it is. Again, sorry, there's going to be a shutter speed, so it's going to be hard for you to see. And now I have to go through just a few little dots that have fallen onto the top. If any's fallen underneath, you've got to lift it up at the edge, be gentle and wipe them away. Any on top, which I've seen here, I can just wipe away with a towel. You're going to want to do that because as soon as you put the screen back on, of course, you'll just have the black dots on the screen driving you mad. Let's put it back together. Okay, well, I've cleaned it. I've reassembled it. I haven't put the back on it yet, so it's just upside down. I just want to see what the picture quality is going to be like. Have I going to have any burn? If there are going to be any burn marks, they're going to be on the top bit, obviously, because the TV is upside down, and that looks as good as I've ever seen one. I wish I knew. The guy that's had this TV for, 5 or 6 years now, must have just kept it on the factory settings. You may be able to see some reflections, but they are just reflections of my tools that are glowing in the background. That's all that is. And on the top left-hand side of the screen that you can see, it's just a bezel that's bowing a little bit until I put it on correctly. So let's get everything back. This is looking good so far. I'm really pleased for the guy. personally, I can't remember the last time I did one of these where I had such a good result. And as I say, I'm really pleased for the chap that owns this, because if it had been burnt up, I was looking at buying a prism sheet, which is going to be an extra 80 odd quid for that prism sheet. And it really does stop you from continuing the repair, but this is absolutely fine. I've just got a few dots on the screen which I can clean off. This has turned out to be absolutely perfect. I mean, I don't think it's the first time this has happened. It really does depend, I'm guessing, on the settings that people have it on. So on these models, again, it starts with the KU, the MU, the NUs, and I think the TUs. They've all got the edge lit backlights that go right up to the prism sheet and cause problems. But this has been absolutely fine, and I can hand it back to the customer, and he should be a happy bunny. Thanks for watching.